should you get and build Mon3tr? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this entire video.
Leave my file here in the medical department, Doctor. Like Countsit said, this is the core where Rhodes Island addresses critical challenges, and my knowledge is crucial. Now, let me concentrate on accomplishing my mission.
ドクターを守り、アーミアを守れ。この命令が私の基本的な行動戦略において、最も高い優先度が設定されているのは事実だが、他の一切を排して強制的に実行すべきだというわけではないからね。君を守るのは私が自分で決めたことなんだ。だから、君をだまくらかして怒ったクロージャの対処を任せるために来たのではないよ。決して。
Mon3tr, known as that mysterious creature related to Dr. Kelsey, which now has grown a human body, because of a reason that I won't tell here, since that is one hell of a spoiler. Anyway, thanks to her expertise, Mon3tr currently acts as a special consultant for Rhodes Island Medical, Engineering, and Field Operation Department. So, the big lady's spine has become a separate operator. If she wasn't released 6 months ago in CN, I might have thought this is the result of that one silly Nintendo patent. Anyway, Mon3tr is our 6th star in the chain medic archetype, focusing on healing, support, and EPS. Yes, welcome to Arknights. This medic technically heal one target at a time, but like Chaincaster, they can chain or bounce their heal to multiple targets, giving them multi-healing capability. The heal or chain heal will prioritize someone with the lowest HP, or the recently deployed. And the chain heal can also target someone with a full HP, which in Mon3tr's case, works really well with her talent. Also, thanks to their chain heal, you can potentially heal operators who are outside of this medic range. But this medic archetype is known to be rather awkward to use, and has some noticeable drawbacks. Like how their healing amount will be reduced every time it bounces. There's also the potential of the healing not bouncing to operators you want, though it's mostly manageable. But of course, the game won't try to sell us a 6 star without trying to fix their archetype issue. And you'll see that with Mon3tr. Now let's see Kelsey Jr.'s stats. Well, there's nothing exactly worth noting. Her stats are average for a medic. Although thanks to her talent, Mon3tr basically can have a permanent boost to her stats. Moving on, let's see her talent. Mon3tr's first talent is quite amazing. It allows her to deploy something called Reconstruction to her range. This thing basically acts as a healing target for Mon3tr. It allows her to make a connection between 2 operators, and make it easier to heal someone outside of her range. For example, here Mon3tr is unable to heal Fuse, because he's outside of her range. And she cannot chain her heal because Stainless and Illa isn't hurt. But thanks to this reconstruction, she can now chain her heal to that Russian man. This thing will also keep on losing HP, which is actually a good thing, because Mon3tr will keep healing it non-stop, and chain her heal to other operators. And you definitely want Mon3tr to keep doing that, to get the buff from her talent too. And neatly enough, this construct will do a chain heal that is not weakened if it gets healed. Meaning Mon3tr won't waste one of her healing bounce if it targets the construct. And as if fixing some of this archetype drawbacks wasn't enough, the reconstruction will also provide attack buff to units around it. The reconstruction doesn't have a time limit of how long it is present on the field. So it's basically a permanent attack buff, if you can keep it alive. Luckily this thing is pretty durable, and has a lower aggro than most units. And if it does get destroyed, or you retreat it, It has a quick deployment cooldown, which also makes repositioning easy. The only disappointing thing is that it strictly must be deployed on the ground, which makes it less flexible, but usually not a big issue. Next, this is her talent 2, which is already unlocked at Elite 1. Whenever Mon3tr or the reconstruction heal someone, Mon3tr and the heal target will get an attack speed buff for 10 seconds. Which should be indicated by the floating crystals around the operator. And considering it is way longer than her normal healing speed, it pretty much means a permanent buff, as long as Mon3tr keeps on healing. The attack buff from this talent can be considered the best attack speed buffer, especially when it got a boost from her skill 2. This talent doesn't really have any drawbacks. But since the requirement is to heal someone first, this is useless for enmity operators and summoned units. Next up, this is her potential upgrade list. You got stuff that will reduce her cost, increase her attack, and improve the attack and attack speed buff of her talents. But even without duplicates, she is already a super good operator. As for module, by the time this video is uploaded, Chain Medic still doesn't have a module, even in CN server. So tell me what's the best module for Chain Medic and Mon3tr in the comment. Well, the easy choice is definitely something to reduce their chain heal penalty. Now let's talk skills. Her skill 1 is an AFK skill. In her next attack, her heal will get a multiplier, and now chain to another unit. Worth noting that this is an offensive recovery, in fact all of her skills are the same. But thanks to her talent 1 reconstruction, she can keep on healing it, and charge her SP. In a way it turns all of her skill into auto recovery. That aside, this first skill is decent. But this is considered her least priority skill. For more potent healing, and also improving her support capability, it's always better to use her next skill. Next, her skill 2. Mon3tr will prioritize healing the reconstruction. And now her attack speed buff from talent 2 will be multiplied. Well, not much need to be said, it's an amazing support skill. In fact, it is considered one of the best buff skills in the game. Not only Mon3tr will constantly heal multiple units and help them to stay alive against vicious hits, but it will also increase other operators' effectiveness, especially for damage dealers. The only downside here is that anyone outside of her construct range, or those who are not connected, will pretty much get ignored. But it's not a glaring issue, since it's manageable. It's considered her best skill to use if you don't need Mon3tr to deal damage with her S3, and instead focus on providing healing and support. Last but not least, we have her skill 3. This is where her DPS tag came from. Mon3tr will drop down to the construct location, becoming a temporary ground unit, with a range mimicking her reconstruction. She gains some big stat boost fitting for a blocker. Can attack multiple enemies equal to block count. And the best part, her attack deals true damage. And she can heal herself on every attack. So yes, it basically combines OG Mon3tr skill 2 and 3, and makes it even better. This easily makes her one of the best damage dealers in the game. And probably the best, or easiest source of true damage. And no doubt most of you already know how strong is true damage. It can ignore all kinds of enemies' defensive attributes and mechanics. Not to mention it hit multiple enemies. But sadly, Despite her huge claws appearance, she can't hit flying enemies. Damage aside, what makes this skill even crazier is that the healing from attacking a target can actually bounce to other operators. Meaning Mon3tr doesn't throw away her ability to provide healing and support to others. In fact, it actually got strengthened because of the attack buff. But she now becomes something like an incantation medic, where she needs to attack to heal. For drawbacks, the most noticeable one is that constant HP loss. But it's actually hardly an issue. Even if Mon3tr doesn't attack anything during this skill duration, the HP drain isn't even enough to kill her. From what I was told, it was actually so that Mon3tr can keep healing herself and bounce the heal to others. Which is nice. And if she does get defeated during this skill, she won't go back to the lobby, but actually survived and returned to her original tile. However, she will be one step away from death's door. By the way, after she uses this skill, the reconstruction will be gone. And you'll have to deploy it again. But neatly enough, as soon as Mon3tr drops down, the reconstruction will start its redeployment timer. So normally once the skill is over, the construct is already available to be deployed again. Probably the only real downside of this skill is that the way Mon3tr drops down to the ground tile is under the move mechanic. The same as Alpiona's skill 3. Meaning Mon3tr will technically be redeployed. And normally, she will become the unit with the highest aggro. Not a problem for her melee version. But it sure is for her original version, who got no strong defense. So that's all of her skills. But which one should you prioritize to master first? It's either her skill 2 and 3, and I'd say the first one to master depends on what you need. But the general choice to go first is her third skill. Mainly because it has more impactful gain. Well, it doesn't have crazy gains like Iblana's skill 3. Because it only increases her initial SP and attack buff. But the attack buff increase is still useful to squeeze out every true damage from Mon3tr. After skill 3, you can go master her skill 2. The mastery gain is hardly impactful in my book. It only increases her initial SP and increases the attack speed buff by +10 on M3. But it is a strong healing and support skill that you should consider to maximize. Skill 1 is pretty much a skip. There's actually a neat mastery upgrade that reduces the SP cost at M3. But considering her S2 has a better healing cost that isn't too different, and the expensive cost of a 6-star mastery, it really should be skipped, unless you want that full mastery icon to show the world just how much you like her. As for her base skills, all of Mon3tr's base skills are in the control center. The first one will reduce moral consumption, and the second skill will increase factory productivity without needing to be partnered with other operators. This skill is the same as Kelsey's skill 2. In fact, the name is actually the same. Overall, she is a good addition for the base. So ladies and gentlemen, should you get and build Mon3tr? For someone coming from an unpopular archetype, Kelsey Jr. is an amazing unit. She has a strong healing and support, and one of the best source of true damage. That should make her a top tier choice for story stages and integrated strategies. And could be in an advanced one to tackle those who have a crazy defense stats, damage reduction, or something else. For new players, while you don't get her true damage right away, but she is a strong healer at Elite 1, which should help a lot in your journey. So overall, I really recommend you guys to get Mon3tr. That should be all. Adios.